Yo, what's up, fight fans? It's your boy Divine, not in the building, but actually on top of my building here in Bangkok, Thailand, looking over the beautiful landscape, as you can see behind me, because I wanted to change up the scenery to talk about this magnificent fight that's on the horizon, coming up this upcoming September 13th, Mexican Independence Day. You guys know what it is, man. We got Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. This is what boxing is all about. This is what boxing desperately needs. And I'm excited to talk about it and share my thoughts. So in this video, I'm gonna give you guys some predictions, some food for thoughts for a part one of what's probably gonna be a 3-part series about this fight. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so first things first, let's see how these two fighters measure up. Take a look at the tail of the tape. I'm gonna start off with Canelo Alvarez. He's currently 34, but come fight night, he's gonna be 35 years old. His current record, 63 wins, 2 draws, and only 2 defeats. And of those 63 wins, he's got 39 big knockouts, which gives him a 62% knockout percentage. He stands at 5'7" with a 70.5-inch reach. He's an orthodox fighter, and according to the Ring magazine and ESPN, he's currently ranked 7 or 8, depending on what's going on in boxing, as one of the best pound-for-pound boxers in the world. Now we turn the page over to Terence Bud Crawford, who's currently 37 years old. So he's a little bit older. Will age play a factor in this fight? We shall see. His record is a flawless one, a perfect one. 41 victories, 0 defeats. And of those 41 victories, he's got his own 31 big knockouts, which gives him a 76% knockout percentage. He's a little bit taller than Canelo, standing at 5'8", and he's got a 3.5-inch reach advantage with a 74-inch reach. According to Ring Magazine and ESPN, he is currently ranked at number 3 on the pound-for-pound list. Also, some websites have him listed as an orthodox fighter, some have him listed as a southpaw, but basically, he can fight in both stances. Bud Crawford is taking his undefeated record, putting it on the line, daring to be great, to try and knock off Saul Canelo Alvarez from his throne and go and try to do something that no man has ever done, and that is to be a 3-division undisputed champion. That's a tall task. We know that Canelo Alvarez has fought fighters way bigger than Bud Crawford. It's actually one of the biggest talking points in this fight is the size. Canelo Alvarez has fought guys like Bivol. He's fought guys like Kovalev. He's fought guys like Billy Joe Saunders. He's fought really big fighters who are established at their weight classes all the way up to light heavyweight. And we know that Bud has come from a smaller weight class, being a champion all the way down at the 135-pound division into 140, 147. But as you can see in the tail of the tape, Bud is actually taller. Bud actually has a bigger reach. And quite frankly, he did most recently fight in the 154-pound division. And I don't think he will struggle to make weight to be at 168 and fight as a super middleweight. The question is, though, is bone structure. Who's going to carry that weight more effectively? We know that Canelo Alvarez has been in the weight longer, and as I mentioned, he's fought bigger guys. It's really something amazing for Bud if he's able to pull this off. Because if you're going to look at one thing, it's not necessarily skill, it's not necessarily the accolades, it's not necessarily the resume. It's a simple fact that Canelo Alvarez has been fighting at a bigger weight class for much longer. And we know that he can beat bigger guys because we've seen it. But with Bud, we don't know if he can beat the bigger guys. Now, the one thing that does helped me be a little bit more optimistic for Bud Crawford is the simple fact that Canelo Alvarez wasn't always fighting at these heavier weight classes. At once upon a time, he was at 147, the same weight class that Terence Crawford was at, which it's a weight class that he became undisputed in. So at one time, Canelo was at that weight class as well. So he's a guy that's moved up. He's not a guy that entered boxing as a super welterweight or junior middleweight and been a long time or spent most of his career as a middleweight, super middleweight. He's a guy who also came in as a welterweight, more or less. So they both moved up, and now they're both clashing. We get a little bit into the styles and why I think in this fight, I have to lean in one way, which leads me into my prediction for this fight. When I look at a lot of these fights, I see Canelo Alvarez and I watch him fight southpaws, for example, because we don't know what type of Bud Crawford we're going to get. Is he going to come out southpaw? Is he going to come out orthodox? Is he going to do both? Is he going to feel it out and adapt? We're going to have to see. But let's just say, for the sake of conversation, if he decides to come out southpaw, Canelo Alvarez has had some really good success against southpaw fighters. Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, Billy Joe Saunders, just to name a few. And he's performed very, very well, especially against Billy Joe Saunders, who was supposed to be this slick boxer who at 168 was one of the best in the division. And he took care of business quite comfortably, in my opinion. We got to roll the tape back and we look at Erislandy Lara, where he had a little bit of struggles, and some people even thought that that fight should have went Erislandy Lara's way. That's up to you. But one thing that we know that he has struggled in the past and even earlier, more recent fights, not necessarily a southpaw, but orthodox fighter in Caleb Plant, for example, is that sometimes it takes Canelo a few rounds, even 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds to get warmed up and to adapt to his fighters. But he does struggle with range, hand speed, which is something that Caleb Plant had, Erislandy Lara had, and also, as we know, Floyd Mayweather. So I think that speed is going to be a factor in this fight. And I think, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, I think Bud Crawford has the more accurate, not necessarily full-on speed, but the more accurate with speed punches in comparison to Canelo Alvarez. He puts his punches together beautifully, and he doesn't miss much. And when he hits the target, it's spot on. Very, very similar to the accuracy of Floyd Mayweather. The only difference is that he throws more punches overall compared to Floyd Mayweather, but nonetheless, still very, very accurate. And I feel like Canelo Alvarez has always struggled against those type of fighters. A little bit unorthodox in how they fight, very fast, very accurate, knows how to protect himself well and slip punches. But I think that Bud is a scrapper. He's a fighter. He's going to give you some boxing, but he's also going to go and step into the box, like I like to call it, and get in close and try to dig in. And he's got some ruthless, nasty uppercuts from both the southpaw and the orthodox position. So those are sneaky and devastating punches. Now let's look at this. One thing we also know is that Saul Canelo Alvarez, man, has got one of the best chins in boxing. I can only think of maybe 1 or 2 times he's ever been hurt. He was in 2 grueling, nasty, brutal fights against Triple G, and I can't say that he was truly, truly hurt or rocked, even though he got hit with some really flush punches. And we remember what Triple G was able to do to a lot of his opponents, just wear and tear down his opponent. So we know that Canelo can take punishment, and he's also taken punishment against much bigger, naturally bigger guys in comparison to Bud Crawford. So I want to throw that out there as food for thought as well. So can Canelo take Crawford's punches? I think he can. Do I think Crawford can knock out Canelo? I don't think he can, to be honest with you. I will be shocked if he will. However, boxing is a hit and don't get hit sport. And I think Bud will, in my opinion, overwhelm Canelo with speed, accuracy, being unorthodox, protecting himself well, and getting enough points in the bank, and possibly catching him off guard, making him, not necessarily hurting him, but maybe making him look or I should say exposing him a little bit, getting caught with shots, making him, lose his balance and having trouble tracking him down. And I feel like Bud Crawford's going to take this 12 and win it comfortably and decisively. There's not a lot of tape, in my opinion, to watch on how to defeat Bud Crawford, obviously because he's undefeated, but he's never really been hurt. The only thing that I can think of that Canelo can use when looking at tape is in some of his fights where he gets a little bit reckless because he has this trigger. When he hurts his opponents, he really gets in and tries to finish him. He's got a big-time killer instinct. So Canelo, for Canelo to win this fight, it's not going to be systematically. It's not going to be outboxing Bud. It's going to be catching Bud when Bud opens up, gets too confident, too comfortable, and getting caught with something. Now, some of you guys may be freaking out. Man, this guy's picking Bud, dude. Bud ain't got a chance, da-da-da-da-da. But I'm going to turn it on this real quick. My official prediction is Bud by decision. And I did say that I don't think Bud has the power to knock out Canelo. Or I just think, I wouldn't say the power, but I just don't think he can break that granite chin. But with that being said, I don't think Canelo's going to win this fight. But if he does win, I think Canelo will win by knockout. I think he can knock out Bud, but I don't think Bud can knock out Canelo. But my official prediction is I think Bud's got this. Outpointing, just too slick, too quick, too athletic. That's another key point. He's an extremely athletic fighter. Flexible, fast, precise, even at 37 years old. I think he's got all the tools it takes to beat a guy like Canelo Alvarez. So that's my official prediction. Agree, disagree, leave in the comment section on who you got winning this fight and why. And stay tuned to part 2, where I'm actually going to dissect the styles even more to give you guys more food for thought on when it comes to how these styles are going to clash, to get you guys prepped and excited even more for this fight. And that's usually a fan favorite when I really get into the styles on how both of the fighters can win the fight. The mistakes, the pros, the cons, the do's and don'ts, I'm going to break it down for you guys. So stay tuned. Peace.